today, this morning, I ring someone up and said, you know your website's not responsive. And she said, rightly, well, you built it. I was like, well, I know that. Today I am going to see a small business that sells children's educational products. It's not Toys R Us, it's not a large organisation, it's literally a small business run by a couple of people who designed, arranged the production, built the website and sell this product into schools and other places. So one of my favourite kinds of organisations or entrepreneurs, they had to do everything because they had to. Yeah, so they know all aspects of the business process. However, what they're asking me to do is come and look at their website because about a month ago, Sage updated their payment software and caused everybody to have to go and upgrade their websites. This is one of those that's never worked since. So it's a technical visit, but I'm pretty sure other aspects of business will come. Whatever. Okay, I've just left my meeting about Sage with the educational products, fun educational products that she sells into schools and designs. And very quickly, I'll tell you what happened, and then I'm going to widen out the conversation for the purpose of this video, really, about the challenges of being a small business today. What happened in the meeting? Well, I spent 2 hours having committed to get her payment system back online with Sage, making her watch me code, explore, and be a detective. Pretty much, she had to just watch me using a computer. I mean, I was asking her questions and I couldn't have done it without her. She had to point me to what was wrong with things in real life, you know, what her designer had done and things. But, you know, it's not the greatest use of her time, but I didn't fix it. I didn't. Because her website was bespoke coded, and when you don't use standard off-the-shelf themes and designs, especially in WordPress, you have to be a detective, which means before I can even fix her e-commerce problem, I've got a bigger problem, which is how's this design put together? She had 2 shopping carts installed because she's tried to fix it herself. Well, that's, you know, 2 pieces of software. That is a problem. But I can't delete things because I can't take the site offline. At least people can see her stuff at the moment and ring her up and buy it by phone. So I can't take too many risks. I need some insurance. I need to create a backup. But my point being, I did not fix it for her today. I have committed to fix it one way or the other by the time school term starts, which is next Friday down here. And I will. And as I said to her, as a business consultant, I cannot not fix it. That's my, you know, our reputation is built on solutions that are cost effective. And so she has an amount of time, and I said to her today, I will not leave this job until it's built and working exactly as you want it. Even if it takes me longer, because I can't do that. My brand, our brand, the Business Think brand, cannot have something not work. Not really. Well, not. So, that's what I said. And I said, if I'm being honest, your website is really causing me a lot of stress because I'm having to work out what's gone on where, and, you know, it's not my favourite job right now, which I did tell her. I said, how about this? You have a bespoke design from 9 years ago, which is pretty amazing. You know, if someone built a website 9 years ago out of WordPress, he would have had to have done it bespoke because there wouldn't have been many choices of standard templates. So you have this website, it's very simple, there's nothing fancy about it, it displays content and your products in a traditional way. How about this? I'm going to ignore your entire current situation and I'm going to build you a brand new website from scratch, transfer your content across, install the e-commerce software that I know works, get your Sage payment working because I know it works, I've done it for someone else, and I'm going to ignore everything you had before because it will probably take me twice as long to fix it, and I don't know I can fix it, right? As it would be to just build the whole thing out of scratch again, and I know it will work. I'd rather do that for the reason I know it will work. It's kind of important. So that's what I said. I said, you know, I'm done with this. I'm not going to mess around trying to work out the puzzle anymore, because it's a waste of your money and it's a waste of my my mental well-being. So I'll just build you a new one, and that's what I will do. Widening out the conversation. I feel a bit sorry for her, to be honest, because that wasn't her fault. She hasn't been able to take an online payment for a month. It wasn't her who decided to upgrade Sage. She just chose to use Sage, and you know, Sage, in their defence, will have done this for security reasons. You would hope, right? So, you know, there's a reason to upgrade. That wasn't her idea. She didn't make that decision at Sage. Yet the knockdown effect to a small business is massive. Couldn't take payments online for a month. It's having to pay me to fix the situation. Sage don't care. I was talking to someone earlier with the same kind of issue, and she said, you know, will Sage recompense people for that? I said, don't make me laugh. No. You know, they make the change and you have to fix it. And so, you know, she does have my sympathy a lot for the situation she found herself in, and she's not alone. And the reason I know she's not alone is she then told me today that Sage sent her a letter this week saying, if you'd like to go back to the old software, please reinstall it. This is fine. Which makes you wonder what the new software was for. But, great. So she's deleted all the stuff because they told her to. And now they send her a letter and saying, you didn't really need to do that. So, what a load of grief and aggro caused by someone else through no fault of your own, wasting your time, losing you money, and forcing you to speak to me. But, you know, that is crap, isn't it? Now, I was thinking before I started the video of who I've seen this week, and it is literally a series of customers, of small businesses, having to deal with other people's rubbish, right? Today, this morning, I ring someone up and said, you know, your website's not responsive. And she said, rightly, well, you built it. I was like, well, I know that, but I built it before mobile responsive became an issue. You know, it was an old site. So, you know, in my defence, this wasn't my idea. Google changed the rules on ranking on phones, not me. But, you know, even though I did build it, you need to change it. She said, well, how much is it? I said, I don't know, 500 quid, take a day, and because I have to change the design. She said, well, I'll get, you know, I've got other quotes, and it was 1,000 and so on, right? And she said, and I think that's the point, you know, I don't really have money to throw around right now, and you know, that's quite a lot of money to me. So, average cost to transfer or convert your website to mobile responsive has got to be, in my view, between £500 and £2,000 for every single business who's serious about search engine optimization, who has customers who use telephones. That's anyone in the leisure sector, guaranteed, right? Hotels, things. It's got to be between £500 to £2,000 straight off their profit margins. Now, that was Google's idea. That wasn't their idea. And do Google recompense them? Of course they don't. But what they do say is, here's a problem, this is what we're going to do, you pay for it, and if you don't, unlucky. Well, thank you very much. So I kind of have some sympathy for her as well, even though, you know, I've sent the quote in. These things, don't get me wrong, these things that big businesses do, the decisions they make, create markets for people like me, and I don't agree with them. But I do agree with my ethos and the business think ethos, which is to fix things. But these are problems not of the making of the people who own the businesses. They are incurred and forced on them. So, you know, that's not great. I'm meeting someone this afternoon about skills shortages. They want an engineer, or, you know, an engineer, manager, designer, and they're successful. They're growing rapidly. And, you know, they're a great company, small business. Can't find anyone. Can't find anyone anywhere. That's not their fault, I don't think. But that's got to do with investment in education and training and government policy. But the kickback for them this afternoon is they don't have a key worker, so they're losing money. That's not their fault. But it's still grief they have to deal with. So, you know, I would say 80% of issues we encounter in terms of fixing are not the business owner's fault. Wasn't their idea, just been forced upon them. Don't even start me on workplace pensions. Not that I am anti-workplace pensions, but in terms of forcing a lot of businesses to invest in something that they don't believe in, and thinking of the example the other day, it's going to cost them money and their employees don't want to join anyway. Whose idea was that? It wasn't the small businesses' idea, but they're the ones who deal with the grief. And so on that sunny, positive ending note, ending on a positive, the life of a small business is challenging.